As you're driving home, you look out the window and see a group of deer grazing in a field. At least you did 10 years ago. Now you might see a newly constructed housing development. Have you ever heard of bears, raccoons, or squirrels attacking? Why do you think that is? And yes, I did say raccoons and squirrels. Have you ever heard stories of cougars or mountain lions or coyotes in the area and ever thought, I didn't even know that they lived here? Why do these things happen? One answer I can give you for that is human interference. People complain and blame nature when it's really people that are invading nature's space. There's many actions that can be taken to change these interferences with wildlife and the environment. Humans play more of a role in nature than we think. Every year, wildlife problems and conflicts appear to be increasing in the state of Pennsylvania, according to the PA Game Commission. We affect entire ecosystems. Nature has its own way of figuring things out. But many times, humans step in and try to make a change. Changing the dynamics multiple times leads to many changes in nature. Many different ways humans affect wildlife and the environment are not on purpose, but yet again, they happen. We should be trying to blend in with the environment, not altering it for our needs. Some of the ways that humans interfere are causing nature to change, and then they're blaming those changes on nature itself. One way is by feeding the wildlife. People complain and blame animals for coming into their homes all the time, when in fact we're the ones feeding them purposefully. They're blamed for following their natural instinct that humans have made them form. They are blamed for attacks to get food when humans have trained them to do so. Some steps to preventing these attacks are taking care of our waste properly. Proper garbage bins can help to limit animals coming into our property, and limiting purposeful feeding also limits these. If you're ever thinking that you're just feeding the birds and squirrels, you're wrong, because that leads to larger, possibly more dangerous animals coming on your property, which can cause many safety concerns. Another thing humans do is unintentionally destroy habitat. New towns are built every day, land gets excavated, gated communities are built. All of these things are destroying the natural habitat and hunting grounds of animals and allow them to enter our communities. Some things we can do are establish other forms of habitat for them. Instead, they are coming and establishing homes under sheds, in the banks of ponds, and even in our own houses. According to the State Game Commission, when people try to exterminate and relocate these animals, it costs excess time, money, and expertise. Animals are not always accepted the correct way and can be harmful to both the animal and the homeowner. One example is when skunks are caught in traps, the homeowners have no idea what to do to get them out, and they end up getting sprayed or having to call the State Game Commission and have them come do it anyways. Even though the Game Commission is trying to prevent these instances, it still costs them time and money. In order to prevent these interactions, humans can often relocate animals. There are several reasons. They relocate them to kill other animals, to control populations, to get the animals away from communities, and for the safety of the humans and the animals. But relocation can be harmful in other ways. It can be harmful to the species and the area that they're being relocated to. For example, coyotes were introduced to Pennsylvania several years ago to control white-tailed deer populations. This was done because the insurance companies thought the deer were causing way too many car accidents. But by doing this, the coyote populations expanded, the deer populations dropped, and nature was disturbed because of human interaction. Another thing humans do to interfere is by overhunting in locations and not enough in others. Deer populations keep rising and falling in varying regions. Trapping laws have also been altered, thus creating overpopulations of some species. Overpopulated species are not good because it causes competition for food and habitat, which just makes the animals come more into our region. some ways you can compensate are by watching changes in populations and changing laws accordingly. As bad as a low population is, it is just as bad to have excess population. Now you can ask yourself, what are the reasons these actions are taken in the first place? The answer, humans want things bigger and better. It's all about us and nature last. People don't see the trickle effect we have on nature. Nature is meant to adapt when the environment changes. It's always adapting whether we like it or not. We need to start looking at the action and consequences before doing things. The saying, act first, think later, is something that we do. What we really need to do is think more, measure twice, cut once before making decisions, especially where nature is involved. According to the Nature Conservancy, some of the things we can do to help preserve nature are land surveys, being educated on wildlife and their tendencies, and being mindful of nature. In closing, I would just like to reiterate that humans and human action are the cause of wildlife and environmental changes in an area. There are numerous ways we can change our actions to prevent this. Stop feeding the wildlife, be mindful of their habitats, look at regional populations before enacting hunting and trapping laws, and relocating. All of these things are ways we can take action to decrease human impact on wildlife and the environment. Next time you go out to feed the cute squirrels in your yard, think about what other animals you're inviting in. For every action, there's a reaction. Can you live with the consequences of your actions? Thank you.
People. Done.